Anyone who has spent time in Kathmandu will tell you it's quite an experience. It was a bit of a culture shock to start with, but I totally loved it. I'd come to Nepal for the trekking, but exploring Kathmandu was definitely a bonus. There was a lot to see, and you never knew what was round the corner. Everything from funeral pyres burning on the ghats to visiting one of the many monasteries and watching the Buddhists in prayer. Or just seeing the local people go about their day. I'm glad I had a couple of days to see all the major sites. And there was always a bargain to be had. Riding on the back of a motorbike in Kathmandu is not recommended. Last night before our trek we went to one of the local restaurants and ended up being entertained by the waiters, which explains a lot about the lovely Nepalese people. I'm not sure what that was, but I know I had a lot of it. The first day of our trek, I was feeling really nervous, yet for someone who had never done any trekking before, I couldn't wait to get going. We took a short 40-minute plane ride to Lukla, where we would start our trek to Everest Base Camp. As soon as we hit the sky, the views were incredible. I'd heard some very scary stories about the landing at Lukla Airport. The runway was built by Sir Edmund Hillary and the Sherpas in the 60s. It's only 350 metres long and rises on an angle of about 10 degrees, so it slows the planes down on landing. If we miss it, there's a cliff and a 600-metre drop to the valley below. Here we go! Now that was cool. Lukla is at 2,800 metres. It all starts and ends here for everything. It would take us 10 days to get to Everest Base Camp, and almost immediately we were trekking. The 7 of us were lucky that all we had to carry was our backpack with what we needed for that day. The rest of our stuff was carried by 4 porters who were carrying like 10 tonnes each. I don't know how they did it. I knew I should have left that anvil behind. The trail was busy with porters carrying essential supplies to all the little villages along the way. Our guides made sure we stopped for breaks regularly. I got hooked on lemon tea. We were spoilt for views almost immediately.
Okay, zoom zoom.
Which meant it was time to go. That's Alan. He and his friend Neil had been planning this trip for about 2 years. I think we're all feeling a little nervous about what may lie ahead. We paid a visit to one of the many Buddhist monasteries. We were told to turn all the prayer wheels for good luck. They came in all sizes, but remember, always turn them clockwise. I wasn't game to find out what happens if you turn them the other way. Day 2 and the trail was still busy and got a little congested at times. Many of the buildings were architecturally brilliant, with all the bricks chipped by hand. The accommodation was simple, yet very homely. There was plenty of time to stop and relax along the way. We were encouraged to take it at our own pace, which suited me fine. The scenery and landscape was forever changing. I didn't want to miss a thing. That day we'd climbed 600 metres to Namche Bazaar and were at 3,400. We were greeted with what appeared to be now a normal everyday thing, with locals celebrating the current festival. There seemed to be a new one every week, but it was beautiful to watch. In the afternoon we took a climb up to the Everest View Hotel. And aptly named. This was the best views we'd seen so far of Everest and surrounding peaks. And the group were certainly looking a lot more relaxed. It was a long day though. We must have gotten a good 6 hours walking. I wasn't looking forward to tomorrow. Incredibly, the next morning all the rain had gone and we were off again. The air was now noticeably getting thinner, which meant the walking was getting tougher. We arrived at Tangbache at 3,800 metres after a long 6-hour walk. I headed straight for the lodge for a hot cup of lemon tea. Tangbache is like the Buddhist spiritual centre of the region, and you could really feel it. Next morning we were off to get a final blessing from the local Buddhist bishop for the rest of our trip. None of us had slept well the last few nights because of the altitude and the excitement of it all. It was only 4 days to go to Everest Base Camp, and we all knew that we were about to step it up a gear. Everest looked over us like some sort of goddess. We still had a good 1,400 metres to climb, and it was at this point everything started to change. What are we at?
4085.
4085. Okay.
Very good.
The last 2 days were hell.
How are we, gents?
That was tough.
We were just 1 day away from our target.
I think that's absolutely brilliant, but I'm ghost at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely shattered. But we're at 4,880 metres. I suppose that's not too bad, yeah. But good, absolutely brilliant.
Half a day from Everest Base Camp, we're all starting to fade. The altitude was getting to us all.
5165. 5165. That's one of our boys, isn't it?
We now felt we were the only people that existed on Earth. This was it. Just an hour or two off now. We started to spread out. Base camp was just around the corner, and there was no sight of anyone else from the group. I hadn't seen them for ages. But then at last I saw Neil and Alan. They'd made it. I would remember this forever. It was a very emotional moment for all. Two from the group didn't make it. One had half a mile to go but just couldn't do it. We really felt for them. The remaining 5 of us simultaneously felt the need to have a bit of time alone to come to grips with what we'd just done.
That's for you, Dad.
The wind was picking up and it was time to go. It was a long way back. And it was so hard. I felt the way I looked.
It's the end of 10 hours walking. And we are wrecked.
It was a hard day on the battlefield. Alan's asthma played up that night. Sleeping at 5,000 metres was near impossible for us all. A totally incredible day. And that wasn't the end of it. We were up early the next day to climb another 400 metres to Kalapata. The altitude made the climb to 5,500 metres almost impossible for me. I couldn't believe it, but I made it. The views were breathtaking. It was so worth it. This was the last day I would spend with the group.
Okay, Ben, zoom.
I was heading to Gokyo Lakes and the rest of the group would spend another 4 days trekking back to Lukla. In 2 weeks we'd gone through so much. I felt I'd known the rest of the group for years.
Which one to press?
It had been an unforgettable experience for everyone. And in many ways no one wanted to leave. But they were looking forward to going home. I suppose we'd all experienced some things together that no one else will never really know. It just hit me that I wouldn't see them again. It was sad to see them go. Good luck, guys. And thanks. The road to Gokyo was so narrow, you have to have your wits about you. Careful there. That was another long day.
Thank you.
The crew from the Gokyo group was so welcoming. I was in for another cold, sleepless night. I thought I'd seen and done everything by now, until I got to Gokyo Lakes. Gokyo had this feeling about it, almost sacred. It was like being at the end of the universe. That's Gokyo-ri at 5,300 metres, and that's where we're going in the morning. At 3:30 AM we rose in the freezing cold. This was insane. We could hardly see a thing, and we were told later that it was minus 18 degrees.
My jacket got one now.
The sun was coming up fast. I was not going to miss this. I now knew what we had come for. The views and the intense euphoric trance-like feeling I had at Gokyo Reef superseded the numbing pain I was feeling all over my body. I think I was nearly frozen solid, but I didn't want to leave. Wow, this is why people climb mountains. Then came the final call. It was now time for me to go home.
Okay, zoom zoom. A lot easier down here.
Man, that was hard. Coming down, thank God. That's really, really hard. What a place though. Unbelievable. What a day, as I say. What a day indeed.
I made sure the walk home was slow. I didn't want to leave. The people of Nepal taught me you need little to be happy, and made me think that though it's a poor country, they are richer than me in so many ways. The porters and Sherpas who guided me along this amazing journey, the heroes of the Himalayas, I just could not have done it without them. And of course the special group of people who helped me along the way. I'll never forget it.
Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. Looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and they snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds. At all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way that you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way. But now it's just another show, and you leave 'em laughing when you go. And if you can, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions that I recall. I really don't know love. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds.
Here they come.
I've looked at life that way. Oh, but now old
Everest Base
friends,
Camp, they had
they're acting strange, and they shake their heads and they tell me that I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day.
And here they are.
I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions.
Well done.
I recall. I really don't know
Well done, mate. You're right.
at all. It's life's illusions that I recall.
I'm very happy, man.
I really don't know life.
Namaste.
I really don't know life at all.
Anyway, listen, good to know you, mate. I had a great time here. Thanks for the company. Absolutely marvellous. We had a cracking time. We have. And we made base camp together, and that's what I came for.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm a man who come here unfulfilled because I'd never seen Everest, and now I'm going home a man unfulfilled because I want to do more.
so live
Great
with that,
trip,
yeah.
cheers.
Thank you.